Hey everybody, welcome to Fantastic Comics. Think about taking part in the poll that's going on right now, and we're going to talk about. I got some questions I want to ask my customers. See you on the other side.
By gum, Captain! All the latest home videos in beta and VHS!
Aye, some so current, they're still in theatrical release.
Help yourself, mates. A chest full of video discs.
No!
What good are they? Can't record on them!
They're not compatible with my system.
Captain! This was locked!
Stand back.
Open that up!
Gather around, me buckos, and feast your eyes on this. Make all the illegal copies you want. Put it on.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Oh, I'm so scared.
I know something I won't tell. I won't tell. I won't tell. I know something I won't.
What do you know, huh?
It's just that Injun Joe is ticklish.
From Hollywood, from Las Vegas, from New York City, and this week, all the way from Mayberry, North Carolina, it's the Merv Griffith Show. Join us as Helen Crum decides to have a surprise birthday party for Gomer Pyle.
Thelma Lou expects me to ask her, but I already mentioned the party to Juanita over at the diner.
Uh-oh, 2 dates.
Merv, you gotta help me. You gotta ask Juanita so's I could take Thelma Lou to the party.
But Barney, it's Helen's party, and Helen's my girl.
This job would be great if it wasn't for the fucking customers.
Jesus, I'm gonna hear from the boss tomorrow.
Oh, would you loosen up? You'd feel a hell of a lot better if you just rip into the occasional customer.
Why? I don't bother them and they don't bother me.
A liar. Tell me there aren't customers that annoy the piss out of you on a daily basis.
Ride the world's most terrifying roller coaster. The Devastator. The Devastator. A heart-stopping 200-mile-per-hour, 15-story drop, spine-cracking 90-degree turn, and the final plunge. 2 whole minutes underwater. The Devastator. The Devastator. It's soul-shattering. Devastator! Devastator! Only at Thrill World.
Eat!
Fade in. Exterior. Unnamed city. Day. The hustle and bustle is a symphony of progress. We pan past windows, each of which contain a different story. To find JC Lakeham's 28. Hot, but doesn't know it. JC stops when her high heel gets caught in the grating of a sewer. Suddenly, a man steps in the frame and points a gun at her. This is not her day. Fade to black. Title. 3 weeks earlier.
Bernard, you seriously don't think you'd ever kill again, do you?
Of course not. But I miss... It was very empowering. Taking a life. It's godlike.
Holy crap, isn't that Dirty Dancing's Patrick Swayze?
Hey, Patrick. Great horse.
Hey, Randall. I call the horse Ghost like that movie I did.
Gotcha. So you own this place, huh?
Yeah, I do, of course.
Swayze, get back to work. I'm not paying to gab with the customers.
fancy moves, Murphy.
Yeah, well, my son Jimmy watches this cop show, DJ Laser, and this laser guy does this every time he takes down a bad guy, so naturally my kid thinks every good cop should be...
And you don't want to disappoint him.
Yeah, well, role models can be very important to a boy.
216 Third Hall. Proceed to Gans Pharmaceutical Company on blind. Assist Unit 2.
Okay, I get a kick out of it. Wow, look at this laundry list of complaints. So you have no direction, no college ambition, no job prospects?
Yeah, it also says I have no dick. But you'll notice that follows the financial question, proving once more what women really look for.
What do you do for money anyway?
Blood bank, sperm bank. I'm currently considering the eye bank.
Wow, she calls you callow in here.
You say that like it's bad.
It means frightened and weak-willed.
Really? Shit. That was the only part of the letter I thought was complimentary.
I like cream pies as much as the next guy.
Oh, don't say it out loud.
Oh, okay. Let me make a cream pie for you, okay? Then you can try it. See what you think.
I do not want to taste your cream pie.
They taste great. I can guarantee it.
You've tasted yours?
Of course I have. Haven't you?
No.
I've tasted mine. I didn't like it.
I've tasted mine, yeah.
I liked mine.
Hey, Underpants, you mess with one boy adventurer, you mess with all of us.
I think they were hoping you'd say that.
Looks like you got a little, herpy on your lip there. You been kissing your wife's ass? After I put herpy in there?
All right, come out to our blast out.
For shame, Doc. Hunting rabbits with an elephant gun.
Elephant gun?
That's right, Doc. So why don't you go shoot yourself an elephant? You do, and I'll give you such a pinch!
We're going to start our volleys. We hope you like the show. Everything is ready. We're raring to go. We'll give you all the latest songs and dances full of pep. We're gonna start with Hacha. Just watch this chorus steps.
Originally settled as Ocean View during the 1850s, the city's population boomed with displaced
But in my own way, I am king. Hail to the king, baby.
Hi there. Thank you, everybody. CGC has let me down for last time, not NCBD. That'd just be crazy. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. For those of you that are new here,
My name is
Yule Carter, comic book retailer in Berkeley, California.
That's right. Not only am I a dude that's going to talk to you about comic books that are coming out tomorrow, I'm a dude that owns a comic store. I have real skin in this comic book game that you hear a lot of people out there talking about it, and they got opinions and points of view that they want to be heard on. But I'm going to give you some nitty-gritty facts, or at least I'm going to gloss over some nitty-gritty facts about running a store and some of the things that we have to do in order to make it run. And some of the things we have to do to make other things run. Oh my goodness gracious. We're going to be talking about in a little bit about, maybe I should just get it out right now. So we're a comic store. We're open Wednesday through Sunday, 12 to 5 p.m. And on the 25th of June, we're expecting Joe Casey. But he has to leave that same night. It's a whole screw up thing. And the problem is that the airlines, they ship, they don't, they're closed after a certain time. So you have a last flight that you can get to. And I'm thinking like we can do this, but we're going to have to do it differently than we were going to. It was going to be very small and intimate and personal. And now it's going to probably be open, during partial store time, and then leaving as the store is closed. We'll have a little bit more signing, a little bit more hanging out, and then ship Joe off to the airport. So is that something that my customers, the ones that might actually attend that type of thing, are you able to make Wednesday earlier, or should we just try and figure something else out altogether? And that's kind of one of the problems I'm going through right now. Another problem I have is with CGC, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. My name is Yule. You heard the puppet say it. Wes say it. That's how you spell my name. Every Wednesday through Sunday, 12 to 5 p.m. Come on in, hang out. We'll be talking comics just like we are here right now. I'll be reading what you guys have to say in chat in just a few moments. Once again, don't forget we have a poll. What's if you're considering slabbing, what option do you go for? CGC? That's the main company. You got CBCS, you have PGX, and then you have my favorite, the last category. I'm with Yule, Crack That Slab, which we will be doing in just a little bit. Got it right there. Thanks to Emil, we're going to be cracking a slab. This one will be a PGX one, and although I haven't done it, I think we can crack it without even any tools. Anyway, we'll see later. We also have a mukbang. I was at the grocery store, and they have M&Ms that are peanut butter and jelly. And I was thinking to myself, well, so it's peanut butter instead of chocolate. And then instead of a nut, they'll have some jelly. Well, that's interesting. So we're going to do a little mukbang in a minute. But first, we want to talk about some comics that came out last week. These are the best of last week. Not necessarily ones that I loved, but ones that sold, or ones that sold and I love them, or just something I think that, needs a little bit more attention. But these are all bona fide hits. So let me turn this off for symmetry. And we will, wait a second. We're not going to do the best of last week. I forgot. I actually have a wrestling minute. It won't be as long as a minute. But yeah, we've got a wrestling minute. So let's do that. I'm out. I'm not watching any for a while. Maybe ever. But I had a customer that texted me a message about their son watching wrestling, and here is this video. Classic AEW. I forget what he said as far as his kid was concerned on who his favorite. Let me see if I can find it. Hologram is his favorite. So wears a mask. I'm not really paying attention to anything. Don't really care. That's your wrestling minute. All right, now let's go to the best of last week. I wanted to talking about some comic books before I come say hi to you. The best of last week. And, you can put in chat or even the comments afterwards what your favorite of last week was, or maybe what you're looking forward to this week, because, we're going to be talking about comic books coming out. These are the best of last week. Runners up. So not the top 5, but just right outside for whatever reason. Avengers number 25. Avengers is a pretty darn good selling title. In fact, it sits behind me on the cigarette wall. And it's doing well again. But it just isn't something I'm really touting right now. So, here we go. Runners up. Runners up, G.I. Joe number 6. Runners up, Amazing Spider-Man number 2. Yeah, I thought it was going to be in the top 5, and I really liked it a lot, but sales are still very good on a second issue. But there were some other books that just had to be paid attention to more. And last runner-up, Batman 159, Hush. Mostly because it's Batman Hush. It's got a lot of sales. Jim Lee's doing it. People are hyped for the book. It's selling well, but not something that I'm really particularly think that should be in the top 5. What should be in the top 5? Well, coming in at 5, we have Absolute Martian Manhunter number 2. I read the first issue, liked it quite a bit, and this one is selling very well in the store. We still have copies of the main cover, although I think I sold all the variants. Number 4, Absolute Wonder Woman number 7. These Absolute books are doing really well for me, and maybe in larger numbers than my Ultimate books overall, but there are less Ultimate books. DC's really fanning the flame by putting so much stuff out there, but these are doing well. And again, another cigarette book. One World Under Doom number 3 comes in at number 3, selling really well. I hear people are kind of bored with it on the internet, but not in my store. And there's a lot of Dr. Doom people out there. I just like Dr. Doom. I'll do anything with Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom. Number 3. Predator versus Spider-Man number 1, Benjamin Percy, Marcelo Ferreira. It did really well for me, all but selling out. I've got the foil cover right here, but I haven't checked it out yet. It's pretty nice. Greg Land does it, but we'll forgive it anyway. Number 2, Predator versus Spider-Man, and number 1, because I read it, it sold really well for me, and I've been really hot for this book. Probably with the end of the last storyline, and with the Summer of Superman special number, the standalone, we've got Superman number 25. And this whole issue is basically just a big old fight scene. And I loved every minute of it. It's got all the different players. You got Lex Luthor trying to figure out a way around the thing that's going on. You've got Mercy going crazy. You got returning characters. And yeah, pretty cool. And if you're like kind of wishy-washy about the whole Superwoman, Lois Lane being Superwoman kind of situation, you should definitely check this book out, because it's there's more to it. And those were the best comics of last week. All right. Wrong button. Let's do this. To all of you all out there.
Hello. 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 Oh. Go. Look out.
Hello. Can you see that? My goodness, what's going on? It's like a smoke machine over here. I didn't talk about CM Punk. What's going on? I like to always take a toke or take a swig anytime CM Punk is being talked about. Straight edge all the way. Cheers. You know, I haven't played this in a while. If you don't know what I'm drinking, here's a clip.
Who is the leper?
No, it's no big deal. It's just some guy who's been running around Riverside Park, you know, cutting people's heads off.
Oh, I haven't read about this.
Yeah, well, you know, the police, they've been having some internal dissension about the name.
Really? What are the other titles?
Headzo, the Denorganizer.
All right. Hopefully I'm still on the air. Let's see if that's true. All right. Looks pretty good. What commercial did you guys see before the show? I wonder. I just got a Transformers. All right. First up, Jolly Bone Wrench. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to you. Continuum, yo, on Yule's show, Yule adds another reason why he hates CGC. Yule, you're giving away your fears to your enemies. When you die, they're going to slab your body for burial. Possibly. Spider Guy, I only slab Yule if I can sell him for double the cost of the funeral. Oh, no. See, now I told Jill, don't claim the body. There's no reason to do that. And if you do have to claim the body, don't sell the body parts. Don't give those things away for free. You know, got to pay for the and it's not going to be a burial at all. We're all, and I would like you guys all to roll me up in a split. How's that? In the other room, Jill B. Pill. Actually, I don't believe she was in the other room when she was typing that. How's your father? Good evening, gents and lady. Excellent. You guys are all talking. Dwayne Muth is here. Good Tuesday evening. Yes, it is. Corey says, I am with you. We'll crack that slab, but only if it is taken special care by slab crackers for the rest of their lives and passed on to someone new to step up to the task. Totally agree. Well, I mean, it's why are people doing that? You know, that's the real question. And we can get into that just a little bit. Oh, wait, stop cam. I got to do this just so you can't see my poor lungs being filled in with air. Raw only. Slabbed is a false economy. I totally agree. It has some of the guys and I were talking about Spider-Man number 300 going for a lot of money. And I said, it's not rare. It's not, well, we were talking about a newsstand edition, and, you know, weren't newsstand editions still coming out during that time? And of course they were. There might have been less of them than when it was a lot, but still 7-Eleven would have them, Circle K, stuff like that for us. But a high grade of that, I don't know. I'm not into the whole newsstand direct sales type thing. I mean, I understand it, but it's not thing that I'm into really. Hey, what is this about no slabbing time? I'll tell you in a sec. I still have some comics I mean to slab, but still never have to this day. Well, maybe what I tell you might affect what you think about it. I've never seen those get me some for NCBD. I've never seen those. Get me some for NCBD. Okay, I will. Why are you out of wrestling now? So I was out of wrestling, and then there was this dude who was doing a comic book podcast named Boogie, and he started to do a wrestling show, and he started that with me and Antonio. And I think it was just us three. Maybe Bob was there. I forget. Maybe no, Bob came in after. So it was all us three. And the idea is like each of us were going to host it on our channels, build up our channels, talk some wrestling. But I got out of that. But I was getting out of wrestling as I was starting that. So I had to get back into it. And you know, it's definitely pleasurable in moments, but it's not really, you know, I don't have to support them. How's that? Wrestling as an industry, man, thank goodness it's around, or else comics would really be bad. You know what I mean? And now that they've really gotten it, especially WWE has gotten in with TKO, it's a much more polished, beautiful product that's very consumable for people. But then it's just all those little things that were always under the surface are just like boiling over the pot now. And I mean, even Vince understands some things. It's only bad if the kid that does that butt move at school. Yeah, exactly. The rump bump, the rump bump. That's what it is. Jasper Plan 9. Hello. I've only got 2 books this week, Red Hulk and Ultimate Spider-Man. Well, maybe I can interest you in something else. Is FCBD this weekend? It is the first Saturday in May. So let's see. Oh my God. Is it? Is it really? Oh my God. Well, it's a good thing I have all these free comics now, isn't it? Holy cow. The week in, week out thing can really, thankfully, I've had those things for a while now. They've been in boxes, they're ready to go. There's really not that much work I need to do. Thankfully, I'm just cleaning up and trying to make sure things are looking good anyway. And yeah, there you go. It is this weekend. I thought of this week as being the entire end of April, but obviously I knew that only tomorrow was the end of April. So a 5th week for one day in the comic book store, if you think about it that way. And you're going to see it reflected in some of the books that are coming out, especially through DC. Lithilor says the latest issue of Hatush was one of the worst comics I've ever read. I gotta say, Jeff Loeb, for the most part, has never been a writer I've really enjoyed. There are some exceptions. His run on Superman, along with like Joe Casey and Joe Kelly and Mark Schultz, really good stuff. Helps when Ed McGuinness is doing some really superlative artwork. So that's one thing. A lot of people really like the Spider-Man blue and the Daredevil yellow and the Hulk gray and whatever. And I feel that those are really bad books. I have hardcovers of some of them, but it's supposed to be these like little moments in time that the person is reflecting on, and it's got great artwork by Tim Sale. Jeff Loeb is lucky. He worked with a lot of really good artists, and Tim Sale is one of them. Long Halloween's okay, but it's one of those villain book of the month comic books. And when Mark Miller came on and did Spider-Man, it was basically the same thing. A little bit different, but a villain a month, and Spider-Man needs to, it's not the Ringer we're talking about in Spider-Man. In Batman, it's not Ratcatcher. I mean, even Ratcatcher got a lot more time during the Chucky Dix days. So I don't doubt that this was horrible. Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee definitely is selling the book. A lot of the variant covers are selling the book. Maybe Hush as a character is getting people back into it, or they haven't read stuff in a while. And there is going to be more to this, I guess, is what I understand. So after the 6 issues, there's going to be a break. And then at the end of the year, there's going to be more. Okay. I liked Hush 2, number 2. Excellent. I mean, yes, FCBD is on Saturday. My goodness gracious. I am liking Absolute Martian Manhunter, but I can just see that series going off the rails since it was extended from 6 to 12 issues. We've seen that before over at DC, where a book gets extended and it just kind of isn't as good, like with the Swamp Thing. And I'm only judging by what I've heard from other people. At Marvel, when Runaways ended and then started up again with BKV, not that good. It's just kind of, it's kind of like whatever momentum, whatever magic there was, it doesn't necessarily happen. And then some people just can Peter David could write a new X Factor, probably be really good. Don't die. Colin, wait. So how am I new comic day this weekend? You mean free comic book day? Well, free comic book day, I have children's books or all ages books. So something that a kid can walk away with and I'm not going to get in trouble. They will be available for the kids to choose from. And then there will be some things that are a little bit more in the middle, like a superhero book, like a Star Wars book. It's not a Star Wars Adventures, but an actual Star Wars book, maybe a Street Fighter. And then there'll be like a Judge Dredd or something from Image or something like that. And those would be the books that would be a little bit more geared towards the adults. But overall, the one I got the most of is going to be the Spider-Man one, the DC All-In one. There's a few others of those. I don't expect like great crowds, but I don't ever really go too hog heavy on it since I am in such a small location, which is one of the reasons why I'm having. That's why I need my customers. So all of tomorrow, I'm going to try and figure out what people would be willing to do or be interested in, and how many I can count on as far as the signing is concerned during the day rather than the evening. A month from now. So that's how I'm going to be handling that. And then you're going to be outside. I'll probably have some dollar boxes, so people can spend money, dollars. That'd be great. Inside, I'm going to have all the graphic novels discounted. And those are going to be the only things I'm going to have a sale on. I've been doing a lot of back issue type sales recently. So this is just going to be on the graphic novels. And it's probably a good time to do that because Saga number 12 is coming out. Damn, why do I say these things? Spider Guy's calling a 25th issue of an iconic comic that's been around since the Golden Age is sad. A milestone. I saw it before. A milestone issue. Yeah. Wrestling is nice, so always be around. You can come. Exactly. And that's one of the reasons why I have a little bit of the problem with people not understanding about why Peter Parker can't really grow, how Batman can't really grow. Things can happen to them. They can change their worldview for a bit, but in the end, they have to snap back so that the next person or the person that left for a while could come back and pretty much get into exactly everything that happened before. It's boring, and that's why a lot of people like the Elseworlds titles, or they like the What If titles, or ultimate titles, absolute titles. That Superman could get his, he could die, it can happen. And nobody's going to really cry. But if Clark Kent from the original universe should die, then we got a problem, right? Elithalor, I can't believe Skybound is doing the same thing with the Energon Universe special again. Can you believe I didn't buy a bunch of them this time? I mean, I bought the free ones, but I'm not going to get screwed again. Jasper Plan 9, Tim Sale drove them. Yes, for sure. And R.I.P. Tim Sale. Amen. Tim Sale's great. You should read his Grendel. Very, very good stuff. I think current writers are better at long form and always have to rush the story when it doesn't sell well. Well, they're geared towards long form. I'm not sure if they're better at long form. And, even if we go back into our 80s and 70s and 60s comic books, unless they were specifically one-issue stories, there was probably an entire arc that was going through 6 or 12 or 18 issues. It was just a little bit more episodic. And as a result, you didn't have to read every single issue to understand what was going on. In fact, there's just like, oh, that was a behind the scene thing that happened with the Kingpin. in something. But Kingpin's not in every story. Daredevil wants to screw Elektra, you know what I mean? Then they got that crazy Gladiator guy. Dave Nguyen, I was expecting you on Sunday, sir. Without CGC, how would you know what Alan Oppenheimer inscribes on comics? Where were you, Dave? I busted my butt. Most new writers can't write a good story, a good one and done story. I would for the most part agree with that. Or at least I haven't seen a lot of people do that. People that do, I think, are Jed McKay. Even better, he does like 2-part stories, and they usually feel pretty good. Ryan North on the Fantastic Four, for the most part, 1-issue stories. Those are pretty cool. Again, I don't have to read every single FF in order to enjoy an FF issue. You know, maybe, Hulk's going to be fighting the Thing. You know, I'll read this one, you know. So it's tough. Mark Waid can do them. Jeremy Adams, I think he's done some that I've really liked. He did that wrestling one with the Flash. That one was an excellent one. I don't know. I know like the Joes can, but it just depends on what they're going to be doing. They're on mini series. They're on something that's not going to be around forever. Joe Kelly is on Spidey, so we'll see how that goes. But for the most part, they've been 1-issue stories or one leading into the other, with a lot of the stuff. Anyway, I love a good one and done. Secret Avengers Volume 2 was like that. Secret Avengers, all the Warren Ellis and stuff, yeah, and all the different illustrators. Should I get my free comic CGC graded? I mean, sure, maybe. If you did the free comic book day, Umbrella Academy, that's their first appearance, and I even think that might have been a little bit something that wasn't in the main book. I like a big story and then a one and done story and a nice build up to another story. Yeah, totally. The first arc in New Teen Titans, 1980s, George Perez, Marv Wolfman. It was basically 6 issues. Getting the team together, getting the Trigon influence, and then the battle through the 6th issue. 7th issue, a nice calming story. And then they build into the next big story. And it works. It's nice. And I think things like the Avengers, if you can do more single story or 2-part stories, you can include them in the Marvel U a little bit better that way also. Also, FF 48 through 50 and then 51. I'm not sure. I'll be Wednesday. I'm excited for the whole... Everybody, right here. In Incredible Hulk 25 in a couple weeks, Fractured Sun versus All-Father Thor. Here's where the fun begins. I mean, let me tell you. I had a customer, he's all, can I order the poster? And I was like, yeah, sure, if it's available. And then I saw what the poster was, because I was a few issues of behind in Hulk. And I'm like, oh shit, Thor's going to be in this. Oh my goodness. And it's like the main cover is going to be not gatefold, wrap around. Nick Klein's going to be doing the art on it. It's going to be so sweet. And the last issue, Kev Walker was doing the lead up issue to it, and that was really nice also. So yeah. Wolfman and Perez, Teen Titans. Amen. There we go. All right. Let me tell you, I know it's nostalgia, but if you can get past some of the things that are going to feel kind of wonky today. Wonky? New Teen Titans, there's nothing better. And then Uncanny X-Men during that time. Spidey during that time. Pretty much my favorite stuff. One of the reasons why I go a little too heavy, we get a little hard in the paint when dealing with the Mary Jane Spider-Man controversy, because I don't think like the great stuff was during that time. Great time was not during that time. All right. Let's see. Next segment.
Good.
All right, you have just another moment to go to the poll. But before you do that, I have an astonishing tales of science fiction. Astonishing number 4. And a very good 4.0 right here. And this is the first PGX I've ever done. And I think PGX had something to do with like a card company, a card grading company or something like that. Anyway, I had a real hard time with the slabs last week, getting them open. But I also didn't have this very thin screwdriver flathead right here, right? I don't think it's going to matter today, because here we have, again, a PGX. Now, this is their old logo, and I'm sure this was done quite a while ago. This is a Stan Lee appearance in this comic book. Bill Everett art and cover, because we know Emil, this is the guy who loaned this to us, is big Bill Everett guy. Hank Chapman and Bill Everett stories. Oh, it was great. Oh, man. Never mind about the printing. This was graded in 325. Oh, no, 315. Okay. Whew, bad eyes. Got to get some light on that. Didn't make sense, really. 315. So, yes, this was a long time ago. And I'm sure there's going to always be a little bit of degrading going on. But look at this. See that? So, this isn't going to be no big thing. But let's just make a sound anyway. And then I'll tell you why I hate CGC more than ever now. So, here we go. I'll say this, when the thing breaks open, it comes out and there's no plastic pieces. So, not unlike CGC, these guys put it in a casing, and then it goes in the slab for extra protection. This is supposed to be protection for you, the person that's going to buy this from somebody online. Now, it doesn't take an expert to grade a comic book at a 4.0. You know, really. This is, if it's got the cover and it's got all the pages, and it doesn't have, like, you know, syrup spilled all over it, it's probably a 4 beginning. I mean, you can see right here, there's some overhang, right? So it's a little bit of a spine roll. You can see all the chipping and all the dirt and all the creases. I mean, it's not hard to see this at all, right? Right? You see the spine? It's kind of ugly looking. I mean, not the ugliest thing I've ever seen, but, you know, possibly when you read this, you might get the heebie-jeebies, you know? Right up here, you got some smudge or maybe rust or something. And then here's your cover. Now, of course, we're talking about a comic book that came out in 1951, right? So, I mean, in no way am I really, like, talking shit about the book. But look right there. Not hard to see that. Coming back up over here. I mean, I really haven't examined this book. But again, 1951. And the guy needed another Bill Everett, you know, to make his collection complete, or to start, you know, to get it there. And it even says off-white pages. But there's no reason why, I mean, I can drop this on the ground, right? Like I could take this out of this, drop it on the ground, and it's still going to be a 4.0 probably, unless a page falls out. Don't worry, Emil, I won't do that. But I mean, this is like anybody can call something very good, right? There's no reason to get it slabbed. There's no reason to get it graded, and the only reason why you do it is because, and I forget who it was, a litholore maybe, or somebody said it's just about getting more money for something, really. If this is like, so let's say it's like a $300 book in this condition, this grade in it because somebody else wants it and they trust this thing right here, are going to more. And the thing is that if this was CGC and not PGX, it's probably going to be 200 more or 300 more. Or if it's like a really high grade and it comes from PGX, I don't know if I really care as much. But let me tell you, I cracked those CGC Spider-Mans last week. And I took them out of their shells, this plastic shell that comes with them. And the thing is that we're talking about a comic book that's a 9.4 and a 9.6. And I got them out of the sleeves, and I didn't think I was really looking with pressing because afterwards they weren't as bad. But these comics are, you don't want to buy them at the higher price. Looking at these, if I have to do work on these books, they're not a 9.4. You know what I mean? They're not a 9.6. I should look at this and go, wow, there's just that one little thing. And I was seeing multiple things on each and every one of the books that were slabbed by CGC. And these are supposed to be the best ones. Now, there's a lot of people out there that say CBCS is the better one. They're the better graders of the companies, but they're newer, they're less respected, or they're not known, so they aren't. It's Pepsi and Coke, or whatever. It's Marvel and DC. You got Marvel and DC. DC has been around longer, but Marvel, Marvel comes in and then it's like, they're the new kids and they're always making money. You know what I mean? CGC is always making money, but the new kids, in this instance, they ain't getting it. And so that's where I'm going to end the poll. What do you think you would do with a slabbing, regarding slabbing? And it looks like most of you, I love it, have agreed with me, even better, that raw comics, man, it's being able to read these things and get the heebie-jeebies off them, or even better, taking a look at someone's that is so nice. Because I mean, look, it's got a little stain right here. This was a 4. It was probably a 4.0 just from that alone. When something looks nice, when something looks bad. It's all that stuff in between. And then they're 0.8, 0.6, 0.4, 9.9. Why'd you go and do that all of a sudden? A 9.9? A 0.5? A 0.2? I gotta give it something. I didn't like the idea of slabbing books all the way back when they did it. What was it, like 2003, 2005, something like that when they started? I didn't like it then. And I thought it was a BS racket thing. And there was a nice aspect of it because, like, if I'm buying from you way far away and I don't know if I can trust you, hopefully I could trust that. But as I'm pulling these things out of the slabs, it's not the 9.6 that I would want to pay for if I was at a show and it was just there and I'm looking at it and I'm like, but I can live with it if it's a little bit cheaper. But since it's stamped on this thing in a bag, in a case, because it's stamped in here and it says 9.4, it's a 9.4. It doesn't freaking matter. Most people don't care about that type of thing, but these things make you care about those type of things. You're chasing that number, and what for what? Most people want to know the difference between a 9.8 and a 9.6 and a 9.6 and a 9.4. But I know those comics there, those were 9.2s only. And they were both the 9.6 and the 9.4 was a 9.2 at best. At best. Some bullshit. And that's why I'm not screwing around with CGC anymore. And you know what? The fun of the hunt isn't necessarily going online and getting it. There's that eBay mentality to get something that's different than buying the comic book. You go and you search and you find it. You're hunting these things. You go to other stores so that you can try and find what they have. Certain stores might not have the same respect for something that something else has. Or they might be more knowledgeable about this and can explain it to you so that you might care about it. And then you're like, oh man, I'm totally into Bill Everett books all of a sudden. Yeah, I don't like CGC. I like knowing that the comic book collection that I'm seeing had the possibility of being destroyed, and it wasn't. If I could go back and if I could just have my first appearance of Black Cat and I could show you what it looks like, it would not look like a good comic book at all. It ain't no 4.0, that's for sure. My first Elektra, Daredevil, I reread these comics all the time. We drew on our comic books. We drew on top of pages on our comic books or straight on it. It doesn't matter. So what are you going to be drawing on? Let's find out.
Why, we sell a dozen a day in this price range.
Who buys them? Tax collectors?
Even if I had to pay, it would be worth it. Just for the occasion.
What, something big going on somewhere?
What's going on right here? It's a big night.
Well, it's just an old run-of-the-mill Wednesday. Well, the calendar's full of them.
It's true, the calendar is full of them, but this ain't no ordinary Wednesday. Well, let me tell you, you're going to want to pay attention to what we're going to be talking about here. If only I would have brought up the pictures a while ago. Ay. Best of last week. Let's go to comments. The problem is I can't bring up the pictures while I talk to you all. Let me just do this. We'll go down to 20. Let's see if this works. Go back to comments. Stern Spidey. Dwayne, you know it. Spider Guy, I didn't know CGC for 5 years tried slabs that were thinner and open on the sides for gassing. Oh, but easy to open. I thought I got scammed. That's one of those. Well, it's PGX, so I'm not sure. But it was only open on that one side. But also, it's not like somebody slipped something out and put something in. I don't think it was anything that bad. CBCS is akin to living in New York City and rooting for the Islanders. Or the Jets. Or the Mets. It all rhymes. I'll go to any baseball game, though. Just won't catch me in a Mets hat. Oh, damn. You could have caught me in a Mets hat at one time. All right. I was a Mike Piazza fan. What can I say? And I thought Fox was screwing everything up. And, of course, I was right. There's a few comics I'm not sure if I'm going to have when the store opens tomorrow because of the way shipping works and the way this company works. I'm never 100% sure when I'm going to be getting stuff. Let me just do this. We'll go a little bit smaller. See if that works. All right. So I'll let you know when those happen. Oh, wait, first one up. Thundercats, number 15. Thundercats. Declan Shalvey is the writer. And I got to admit, I tried reading the first issue, but it was a lot of, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. And I'm sure all of you Thundercats dorks out there were really into it, but I don't know. I was never that into the Thundercats. I always thought the Thundercats was a cartoon that had a really killer opening, like one of the all-time greatest openings of an animated series ever. And then everything on the inside sucked. It's a lot like a Dynamite comic book. I wish that Nick Barucci was in the audience right now. Power Company Recharged. Oh, I bet it is. This was one of the shittiest things that happened in the 2000s, and it was all written by Kurt Busiek. He's not writing it now, but I bet we're all gonna wish that he was the writer on it. It's kind of like well, what it really is just kind of keeping the property alive, really, right? Isn't that what it is? And maybe they can like fold in a few other characters that weren't in the Power Company before. It looks like I'm looking at Black Lightning. I'm looking at Chase Fox. I'm looking at I can't remember what the kid's name was. This Signal kid. So we got some other characters in addition to the original Power Companies, or at least the leader of it. And I can't remember. It was a series of one shots, and then I think there was a mini series. I'd be surprised if DC is going to collect any of that, but it'd be interesting to take a look at it. Maybe I'd think differently of it. Savage Sword of Conan number 8, I think, is the last Titan comic I'll be getting from Diamond. I got to admit, I'm looking at the League of Comic Geeks a lot of times when I get these picks. And this might actually be coming out from Lunar. So if so, it's at least another week away. But again, I'm not sure when this is coming in. And lastly, the giant-sized wacky races. I got to admit, I'm a sucker for the wacky races, and I hear they're on Tubi now. I was over at I Love Comics comic channel, and they were talking about some of that crap. Anyway, this listener cover is fantastic, and I'm a Penelope Pit Stop stan from day one. You know what I mean? More fun comics. Why? This is a Dr. Fate early issue along with the Spectre, number 73. Back in the day, it's a one of the famous facsimiles that the companies are putting out, and of course DC's are from even longer ago than what Marvel's been putting out. Coming out from Image, we have The Death of Copra, number 4 by Michel Fiffe, the last Copra issue. The last one of this series, so we'll see what happens, but I don't know if there is going to be any more. Rocketeers, number 5, Peter J. Tomasi and Francis Manapul. This is their Ghost Machine book. I'm not reading it. A book I am reading coming out from Image. I read the first one, loved it. We did not sell out of it. So, I got more copies of the first issue. So, I know it's weird to say I didn't sell out of it. I didn't sell out of it because I had to wait for DC to send me the other copies. And in addition to those that I have, I now have the second print. So, I would really love to have this contest happen where I'm going to be giving away the very special first issue. We're taking everyone down with us, but I must demand, I can't just give you anything for free. You got to buy the first issue first, and I have to sell out. So I'm counting the second print. I'm moving the goalpost on this one, but it's that important because this book is really, really good. And the second issue comes out tomorrow also. Robot Todd by Farrell Dalrymple. This is the second issue. And hey, man, he did every time you see Fantastic Comics, unless I do a specific thumbnail, you're looking at the Feral store image that we use even on our door today. Kid Juggernaut #1. I don't know if there is another issue after this, but this is the origin of Kid Juggernaut, and I know everybody is really excited for this. Bitterroot #2. This is a mini series now by Walker and Brown and Green. It advances the Bitterroot story in time, I think to the 60s. So we've got like the civil rights era stuff going on. And yeah, you should check this one out. Great stuff. Mark Spears Monsters #4. Didn't this already come out? There is a ton of covers, and there's homages to superhero comics that you're going to want to see. I'll just tell you, Killing Joke and Spider-Man 300. Monsters #4 by Mark Spears. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, Silent Missions. It's a one-shot. It's featuring Duke. And, like, seriously, other than maybe, like, Snake Eyes and maybe, like, Roadblock or Gung-Ho, Duke and Scarlet. Duke is the main G.I. Joe guy, right? And obviously you need to have one of these issues. The Seasons #4 by Rick Remender and Paul Azaceta. Did I say his name right? What a fun little cover this is. I'm not reading this because I can only read so many comic books, but I love his Sacrificers, and the season seems to be doing pretty well for us. So come on in and get it. You'll Do Bad Things #2. I did not read the first issue, but we sold out of it. And it came out on the same day as we're taking everyone down with us. So it kind of got pushed to the side as far as my caring about another non-Marvel DC comic book, non-Jeff Lemire, some of the other creators that I like. But I had to reorder the second print of the first issue to come out with this, and I did, and we'll see how it does. So #2 of this comes out. The Slasher's Apprentice by Justin Richards. I don't know who any of these people are, but it's a Mad Cave book, so I usually give them a chance. This is a podcast. Oh, go figure. It's a woman that's really into slashers, serial killers, and she's a podcaster, and she's gonna get connected with this one serial killer, and I guess continue on. I don't know. We'll see. Wolverine and Kitty Pryde by Chris Claremont and people I don't know. Great cover by Alan Davis, though, so it's already better than the original. Weapon X-Men #3. Oh, man, I only have a few more pages and I'm finished with this issue. Joe Casey's writing it. Chris Cross is doing some really good artwork. I'm really happy to see him on a book again. Unfortunately, this is only a 5-issue series. It's got everybody in it that you'd want, but man, let me tell you, Thunderbird is turning the corner for me already in this issue. And man, what a tortured character coming back from the dead after so long and seeing everything different than what he knew, but of course so many things also being the same. I think you could do like a ton of shit with that character. I think Thunderbird just don't make him stupid. You know what I mean? Anyway, this was a pretty darn good issue. I have only a couple more pages left. And yeah, Chris Cross is doing excellent stuff. Good writing. Rogue the Savage Land #4 by Tim Seeley. And I don't know who the other people are. Kari Andrews on covers, unless you like the J. Scott Campbell ones also. Red Hulk #3 by Ben Percy. Jeff Shaw, right, is on art. I haven't read any of these issues yet, but I heard that it's a really good series, and I believe it. I think Ben Percy can be a really good writer from time to time, And who doesn't want to see a cool Deathlock and Machine Man story? The Last Ronin, number 2, Re-Evolution. Number 5, The Last Ronin 2, Re-Evolution. Number 5. Comes out tomorrow. I think it's the last issue. I can't remember. It's been a while since the last one came out, but it takes a while. Godzilla versus Spider-Man, everybody. Joe Kelly's writing it, and Nick Bradshaw on art. Nick Bradshaw. If you can't get Art Adams to do anything, because of course you can't, you should get Nick Bradshaw because he can and he will. And man, it's so awesome because back in the day, Art Adams did the Godzilla specials, and now we got his clone doing it on a book that usually has clones in it. It's great. You got to get this book. I think I might. No, I don't think I got the foil, and let me tell you, it's beautiful. Void Rivals number 18. It's been picking up in sales, but I did have someone drop it in sales, so and on hold. So there is that. But yeah, a lot of people have been picking this one up, and I've been having to notice that and take advantage of the situation. People liking things. Batman: The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, number 7. Yeah, so we've got, oh wow, we have Dave Johnson on art. Each issue is a different artist. So Jeff Loeb is writing it. Tim Sale covers or art that they were able to fashion into covers by Tim Sale. And then a different illustrator. We've had Bill Sienkiewicz, we'd have Mark Chiarello, and now we've got Dave Johnson. And let me tell you, usually Dave Johnson doesn't do a lot of comic books. You know what I mean? He does a lot of covers, but he doesn't do a lot of comic books. So I would probably check this one out if I was going to pick something up that I didn't normally pick up. And you know how I am about Batman, so I mean it. Fantastic Four, number 31. It's a One World Under Doom storyline, the thing that's going on. Ryan North is also writing that. He writes Fantastic Four. So this is probably one you're going to want to get. And I've been selling it pretty heavily, especially recently, but it's behind me. It's a cigarette book. So it's been doing well anyway. And I have a lot of people that have been enjoying it. So yeah, Fantastic Four. I mean, 2. Here we go with DC. Batman, Superman, World's Finest Annual number 1. This is the third part of the We Are Yesterday storyline that's going on in Batman, Superman, World's Finest, Justice League Unlimited, and now the third part right here. And then we'll be going back for the last few in their respective issues. So that's a thing. Ultimate Spider-Man number 16. I just finished number 15, and it was a great little calm down issue. I know a lot of people are probably, what do you mean? There's never anything going on. But there really is. And boy, by the end of it, every time Jay Jonah and Ben have to, Uncle Ben have to do their newspapering thing and talk to the Kingpin's criminal thugs, it's always really exciting for me. And I really enjoy Hickman's writing. I think he's doing a really good job, and it's got great art, even when Chichetto isn't on the book. And lastly, we have a Batman Detective Comics annual for 2025. Number 1. Looks like Al Ewing is the writer or one of the writers on this. It has a whole bunch of people working in the book. But yeah, if you're a detective fan, I'm pulling it for you already. But this is a book that you might want to pick up if you haven't picked up a Batman in a while. At least it's a single story, bite-sized kind of thing that you don't have to worry about, reading a shit ton of other stories to finish what you're reading here. That is new comic books for tomorrow or next week. The free comic book day. All right. Let me take this banner down. Go to comments. I said go to comments. I just remember hearing of these certain scams with slabbing companies, why I held off doing some. Yeah. I'm just not a super fan of it. You know, money changes the more the book cost. Grading increases the price for it. I don't know. Yo, are you keeping up with the YouTube influencer produced comics? A new one came out on Friday. Well, I don't know whose it was, but it wasn't anything that I've ordered. YouTube influencer. So I try to break into comic books, and there's a part of me that still wants to write, but probably not for comic books anymore. But I can't lie and say I don't have ideas that come up. Somewhere over here, I have a piece of paper, and I was going to, every week, I was going to write a Captain America story, right? So I don't know where it is right now. Let me see if I can, if it's this one. Nope. Thought it was there, though. Well, oh, here it is. Okay, good. Right here. Captain America. Number 1. Cap has to find and defuse a bomb in a high-rise or a high-rise, right? An evil, villainous, shadowy figure watches the interaction. Maybe like in each, level of the building, there's a camera. Traditional caption boxes, interior monologue in the building. The villain not on the same page, always advancing the story. Just like a one little issue story to give you a focus on what Captain America is all about. A little idea, and then you just fill it out later. That's how comics used to be written. All right, mukbang right here. We've got the peanut butter and jelly M&Ms, and I'm intrigued by this. But it's like, what are they going to do? Is it going to be any good? I love peanut butter and jelly. Let me get another one in so I can get some of this beer taste out, right? All right, that's enough. Oh, those are pretty good. I don't hate that at all. All right. It's kind of filmy afterwards. I don't really eat I'm not supposed to eat a lot of candy anymore. Sugar. Jasper, if you want to specifically talk about what the comic book is, I'd be happy to go over it. Take a look at it. So I'm not going to use this. I'm not going to use the store. I'm not going to use anything to make a comic book. I'm not going to. I am here for you to go to a shop, hopefully mine, and buy some comic books. Maybe I pointed something else out to you that you would not know. Maybe I'm going to talk about something you don't know. We're just going to chat and have a good time like it is at the comic store. And that's the only influencing I'm going to do. Maybe one day I'll talk. I'm influencing you to not purchase CGC comic books or scrutinize and don't pay extra for a lot of CGC comic books. That's another thing. Or don't expect a lot of really good grading coming from a CGC comic book. Again, a 4.0, anybody can do that. And it's almost like you go to shows sometimes and people have they have like all these comic books that you're like, holy shit, I wouldn't have ever slabbed any of these comic books ever. And they are so bad of condition, there's no reason to slab them at all. It's like, all right, I know you got an old comic book, it comes from the 50s. I know you got an old comic book, it comes from the 70s. It doesn't need to be slabbed though. all you're doing is like, again, kind of affecting the price. All right. But that's like my biggest influencing, and it's really not I mean, I don't think of it that way. But then I have the illusion that I am God damn it. I just want to bring a picture up to this thing. Hold on a second. Jesus. All right, I gotta look at the desktop for a second. It's right here. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I gotta bring this picture up so we can talk about something. There we go. All right, that makes sense. If I have enough time, it looks like I have enough time. I'm going to talk about this stuff. All right. So yeah, I don't know who so again, the influencers. We have people that are I mean, I don't know, man. I'm not really into the idea of someone outside of comic books making comic books. You know what I mean? I never really have been. Even celebrities. I feel like when you get a lot of outside people coming in, they often want to change things, or they want to. All right, case in point, that David Meltzer guy or whatever his name is that did Identity Crisis. He comes in and he does a book, and he kills a main character. Not an A-lister. Oh, a relative of a C-list character. C, D, whatever. But much loved for a long time. And it wasn't even so much as that person was killed, but then we found out that the Justice League did something that was really reprehensible. You know what I mean? And oh shoot, I don't want to show you that yet. God damn it. Why doesn't it? Okay. Do you know what? Stupid. Okay. God damn. I can't trust this thing at all. What is going on? All right. So as far as influencers writing comic books, you're doing your own thing. You're celebrating yourself, and people are willing to pay some money for something. Don't expect it to be all that good. And overall, I really think I can't imagine any of them are going to be any good ever, but I purchased them. I mean, COVID times, you just wanted to belong to something, and if it's someone making a comic book, maybe it will be good. All right. Okay, time to bed. Okay. Thundercats had a great opening and had episodes sorted in the hole. I'll bring you some of those M&Ms. Okay, I will. They're going to be brought to you. All right, let's see. Oh, Yellow Flash is the mighty Golden Patriot. Well, hold on a second. I'm the oh no, damn. The responsible retailer was not in response to Yellow Flash. Oh God, he said we were stores were something about like the only reason why they're doing it is because we order stuff. And it's like, yeah, I think you got a little ass backwards on that one. We order stuff so that people will buy stuff that they want, or we buy things. I don't ever buy something I don't think somebody wants. You know what I mean? I might be actually targeting a customer, but because that customer likes something, I know customers like that person might like something, and I take that into consideration. I also take into consideration people I've never seen before and what they might actually be coming in for. You know, if something's hot and people are like, they want to ask for it, you can show them. And if you don't sell them that because maybe what they heard wasn't really as good as you heard or they heard, what they might do is then pick something else up. Oh, well, if you don't like that, you might want to check this out, the person might say. So when something doesn't sell in a store and it's got hype, oh, I heard that it was so hyped and everybody bought this. It's very important to have it so that you can at least have a conversation with the person and you can move on from there. I hear slabs are more difficult to sell. You got to slab the right thing. And if you're not putting the very, very keyest of issues, it really shouldn't be. If it's not the most mint of issues, or if it's so bad that that's the only way it's holding together and you just need it recorded, that would be an understandable reason for these things to occur. You just want the thing you could get a really good printer these days and you could print up the cover and put it on your wall. But, there are people that like them. There's a symmetry to them and you can put them on your wall if you put it all nicely. It's kind of like its own little thing. But if you're trying to sell in between issues that don't matter, they better be something real. They better have a Mark Jewelers insert. They better have a double cover. They better be the most tits cover ever recorded. You know what I mean? Roxanne Foster says, hello. Can you please pull a Predator versus Spider-Man and that we're taking everyone down with us? Thank you, sir. Aaron, see you Saturday. Yes, I will. Let me write that down. Predator. You're using different names all the time. Oh, wait. Oh, no, you're separate. Got you. Spidey and we're taking. Excellent. Done and done. See you then. Only useless modern book keys still do well. Yeah, so like my problem is one of the issues I need of the Spider-Man run that I'm trying to do is amazing. It was the one with Hydra Man, the first appearance. And it's like the dumbest character ever, right? And just because there was an appearance in a movie or a suggestion or something, now all of a sudden it's a much more expensive book. And of course, everybody went and they slabbed all those books. And now you have to pay more money. And I refuse to pay money for that shitty fucking book. And I probably would rather it not to be slabbed anyway, so I can take a look at what the book actually looks like. Meltzer's concept never got revisited as canon. True, Jasper, but that person is still dead. And also the person that killed that person still did that. And although they don't go back to what happened with the Justice League, because the New 52 never said that they were a brand new start to anything, and then they had Rebirth, and then they had Dark Knight's Metal, and then they had all the other shit that they've done. They've never said that it wasn't canon. So I can only imagine that they did what they did. Oh, yeah. Gotcha. Oh, on the TV. All right, cool. All right, we have a few more minutes. I'm going to highlight a Joe Casey book. And I'm going to do that in a little segment that I like to call...
Here! I'm down here! Down here!
Mr. Sheldon?
That's right, a little Mother's Basement, everybody. Let me get a few more of these pages up. This is by far and away one of my favorite comic books. Oh, I can't remember what year it was when it was going on. Probably just pre 9/11. Look at that picture. God darn. It's acting a little weird on me. Uh, I don't know. I guess I was searching for something that wasn't out there in comic books. I feel like when I'm talking about Joe Casey, and I'm especially talking about his superhero comic books, especially his creator-owned superhero comic books, he has you get to a certain age, right? Maybe you've read all the superhero comics you're going to read, and you have to make a decision about, like, well, I still like the medium of comic books. I still like pictures being told to me and me interacting with them and reading them and voicing the characters and seeing the stupendous things that even now they can't always do in movies, right? And because comic books are kind of ignored by the rest of the world, we get away with a lot of stuff that maybe you wouldn't necessarily get away with in in movies, or trying to make a buck. You know, sorry, all these pictures are flashing on while I'm doing this. It's the only way to move the picture because StreamYard's stupid right now. Anywho, let's get to it. This is this is one of my favorite comics. My favorite comic coming out. So I was joking. This is when I was working at Comic Relief. We were still over on University, and some of my favorite books were coming out during that time. And I loved all of the Men of Action Superman stuff that was going on. I had a very monumental mushroom trip, and I came to the realization that I wanted to be the person to write Action Comics 1000. And I had this big, grandiose plan about everything that needed to happen. And I realized that the only way you could actually get a chance to do something like that without being in the industry for a super amount, a long time, especially for something so monumental, you have to be an important person that says they want to write that. And you've seen people do that. Joss Whedon comes in and he brings a character back from the dead and ships off another character. He creates new characters that can do all these things. You see Dave Meltzer come in and do the things that he did on Identity Crisis. There's a lot of instances where we see Bendis. He's a big star in comic books, and he's coming over to DC, and he's going to change everything that we know. Oh man, it was just getting good during that time. It happens within comic books, outside of comic books, but you got to be a big person to do that. Which is funny because Dan Jurgens was the guy that wrote Action Comics 1000. And although he had been there a long time and did a very important thing in Superman, it isn't necessarily the greatest thing in Superman ever done. Anyway, Joe Casey was writing Adventures in Superman. Kurt Busiek, who I just made fun of earlier in the show, was doing Conan the Barbarian for Dark Horse with Kerry Nord on artwork. Now so when I was working at Comic Relief, I always joked about the Yuli Awards. Who's going to win the Yuli Award this year? A Yuli Award could be given out to a comic book, to a creator, to this, to that. And it was really between Godland, Joe Kelly, Joe Casey, and Kurt Busiek who actually won, along with Kerry Nord, for Conan the Barbarian during that time. But Godland is the book we're going to be talking about today. And this one's excellent. Tom Scioli is the artist. And if you look at it and you're like, man, that guy has a real Kirby vibe to him. Yes, he does very much have a Kirby vibe to him. In fact, when what's his name? Ed Piskor did grand design for X-Men, it had been rumored and then eventually realized that Scioli would do a grand design for Fantastic Four. And it was fantastic stuff. Here you have the inside front cover. Oh, yeah, and I got to show you. This is one of the reasons why I'm really I want to get some Joe Casey, and I got some stuff for him to sign. Now I don't have it this, so this is my Godland Celestial Edition, book 1. And in case you didn't know, or you wanted to know, I do indeed have book 2. Book 2 out of the slip. In the slip, we've got book 3 right there. And this was done many, many years later after these. And it was a big deal. And I'm sure, like, if we get Joe to the store, he could talk about the process of getting the third one made, because I don't think Starkings was necessarily involved with Image fully at the time, but he was here. Anyway, when we were opening the store, me and my brother and all the people that would eventually work for us, that was 2011. And we got the permits and everything going, and it was just really wonderful. And before we got the store open, there was the WonderCon, and it was last year that was going to be in San Francisco, and Joe Casey was there. So I made sure to get 2011, SF 2011 right there. And this is a fantastic book, and we're going to talk about the first issue. I hope that maybe, just possibly, every week we might be able to do another Joe Casey comic book. But you know how it is with me. I'm not always with it. Okay, first page. Or actually, let's go to the inside. So here we have Tom Scioli, artist, co-creator. Tom Scioli grew up on the mean streets of Philadelphia. Blah, 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 blah. Joe Casey escaped a childhood filled with nothing but comic books, movies, and rock and roll, only to crash headlong into adulthood. Talking about Bill Crabtree, the colorist, and Richard Starkings, the designer, isn't above reminding people that the third issue of Hip Flask Mystery City is on sale now. It's also written by Ricky Gervais. First issue. All right. So, I didn't cut that so well. Oh, well. Here we have a meteor hurtling to Earth. I'm just going to read a couple of the passages right here. It's a good thing you didn't see me on camera right now, because I totally knocked my face with this book. Face facts, true disbeliever. The human mind isn't big enough to comprehend its titanic totality. But that bigness is what it's all about. The earth is just a tiny piece of the bigger puzzle. I'm not sure if the cosmos knows what it's getting into, inviting us to their little tea party, but I say bring it on. All right. And then we get little setups. We have Kennedy Space Center, Cape Canaveral, Florida, where they're like, oh my God, there's something coming to Earth. And then we have Washington, D.C. And we have this lady, and she's pissed off, and she's not getting the proper credit that she's due from this commander. And you're getting a little bit of the information that's going on. She says, sir, you've already convinced my family to move into that monstrosity you've constructed in Midtown Manhattan. He's all, the Infinity Tower has been specifically designed to accommodate your brother's unique needs. You know that. And then he gets a phone call. And he's all, what? Meteor? Good Christ. He's all right. I'll send the alert. Data stream whatever you got to Infinity Tower. And then we go to Infinity Tower in New York City. And isn't that beautiful? And we've got these two ladies who we find out are sisters of the woman we just saw. And they're bitching about life. And then the call comes in, and they're like, oh, damn, we got to get our brother to get ready. And he's like, all right, this is Stella in the lab. He's all right, well, I'm going to go do it. And and here she says, That's what they want you to find out. Good luck, Commander Archer. And he's all very funny. Seal up the silos, Stella. Initiating transformative and self-launch procedures. And the next page. Nice stuff. So it's cool that we've got an artist that's got that sort of obvious Kirby crackle, they call it, the style of 1960s Marvel comics. And we have this family, not unlike the first family of Marvel, and we're getting their personalities. We've got like the chick with the rings in her face, and she's totally anti establishment. We've got Commander Archer, who was on an ill-fated mission, and we're going to get into that in just a second. And we've got the sister, who isn't getting the credit that her brother is, even though she's just as decorated, or just as just as she's fit. She's fit for the job. And it's got some good little dynamics right in the very first few pages. And here's Archer as he's flying across the city. He's like, I see how they look at me. The distrust, the fear. They still don't know what to make of me. He's like, I can't say I blame them. And then as he's flying past, accidentally or whatever, fries the cameraman. And then the reporter says, whoa, what the hell is the story on this freak? And got the really good segue, excellent segue into 4 years ago. And we have, again, an ill-fated mission on Mars. There's already 3 dead astronauts that Archer came down with, and he knows he's the last. And he's like, if I'm lucky, I have like 2 or 3 days left of oxygen. He's all, I'm going to see what I could do, but he knows he's completely alone. And here he is climbing up a hill. And he's like, days have gone by, or time has gone by. He's all, I hope these final words are not lost in the vastness of space. The universe so cold, so massive, so humbling. And then as he's walking along and his air is depleting, the ground gives away underneath him. And he falls into the center, and his face is cracked, and his plate is cracked. And he's like, but wait, I can breathe. And he's all, what the hell is that thing? And then we go right back into the present day. And we have Adam Archer. He's flying into China where the meteor is ended. And he's all, damn, there would be a lot more damage here normally. He's all, I don't think China's going to really see it that way. But I'm going to go in and inspect. And as he does, there's this big old dog that jumps out at him. And he's like, oh my God, it's speaking some alien language. Going back in time to 4 years ago, here he is. He's like walking through and he's trying to activate this machine. And when he does, all these images of him and all of his thoughts are being duplicated. He's like, something's happening. What the hell? And all of these things shoot into him. And then he's like really tripping out as we see pieces of time and maybe like the universe like collapsing or being created in front of him. And all this one word keeps coming through within all of his thoughts, and it's iboga or iboga. I don't know how to say it. The present, here he is. He's fighting this darn dog, and he's like putting up his defense. He makes like this pointed ball, and the dog bounces off him, but it keeps coming back, and he pushes it with his rays, and then the dog gets the upper hand and gets him in his mouth right there. He's all, what? Don't bite me. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Trippy artwork. I like it. Good colors. And let's see what's next. Oh yeah. Okay, so I like the big pitches so I can talk about what's going on. So as he's biting him, he sees all of, I guess, other dogs. I'm only going to call them dogs because I don't know what he is right now. They're in like little test tubes and they're being fed into each other or something. And they're like, modification imminent, necessary emissary, species intersected, perilous sciences, torturous process, domesticated potential, unique survival. And then he's back into it and he's all the things biting me. It's biting me. And he's like, okay. And so now we go to the Arctic Circle, and here we have a superhero, and he's being tortured by this lady. And what does she say to him? She says, I know it hurts, Crash Man, but that's what torture is all about. My father taught me well. And he's all, you won't break me. And she says, your resistance is such a turn on. Don't stop. And then eventually she's all like, oh, it's a good thing I'm addicted to like television news, or else I would be I'd be torturing you longer. But the news tells her that there's the meteor, and then there's the big fight. She's all, this has got to be a hoax. And then we go to Adam fighting this dog thing. And it just keeps going on. Good fight scenes. All right, next page. I'm bringing them up as I talk. But yeah, I'm really a fan of the artwork right off the bat. It also actually reminds me of I think it's Don Shin and Parsonovich who did Adolescent Radioactive Black Belt Hamsters. And when I first saw that as a kid, I thought that the artwork was really super crude. And if I look at it now, it's really super crude. But I'm seeing the art from what it was originally, what they learned from, what they were emulating. And there's a lot of that in this, or there's a lot of this and that. And of course, obviously Kirby, right from the, Adam's still fighting this creature, and he's like, he's thinking to himself, he's like, this has gone on too long, and I'm beginning to think it was trying to communicate with me. Maybe its intentions aren't hostile at all, but how can I know for sure? And that makes sense. Of course he's going to want to keep fighting. Meanwhile, the Chinese troops are coming, and they're like, we're going to take all these guys down. I don't care who they are. And it's then that they're, what does it say? Nothing like a localized molecular scramble to take out an entire army when you need to. Time to collect the spoils. And finally, Adam and the dog are stopping to fight. He's like, maybe I can communicate with this thing, but it really doesn't matter because the next foil has joined the scene. And he's like, who the hell are you? And this guy, he's all, who am I? That's a loaded question, Commander. I mean, are you asking my name, or are you asking if I'm at all existentially self-aware? So few of us are. In any case, please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Basil Cronus, and I'm here to take that alien quadruped off your hands. And that's how the first issue of Godland ends. But there's more. I love the good job by Richard Starkings on this stuff, making me want to find out all the stuff that's going on. Joe Casey is really putting forth the whole cosmicness, the whole kind of out there-ness of this book, and I really enjoyed it quite a bit. And then the last page was a Savage Dragon advertisement. And if you guys don't know about Home Run Pie, think about those old Hostess Twinkie ads. It was just those fruit pies. Spider-Man's fighting some criminal, and he's like, oh, I got some Hostess fruit pies. Or the Fantastic Four, or Batman, or Superman, throwing some Hostess fruit pies at some villain as they're getting captured and then pulled away. And they're like, oh, well, if only it wasn't for these Hostess fruit pies, but they sure do taste good. Well, Home Run Pie, I thought was a Bay Area knockoff of Hostess fruit pies, and let me tell you, they have different flavors, and they aren't very good at all. But Eric Larson's a Bay Area guy, and he's a fan of this stuff, and he's definitely a fan of old comic books. So he got his Savage Dragon to be able to endorse Home Run Pies, and did one of those cool Hostess ads like that here. And yeah, that's a reason to buy the comic books and not the graphic novels. You know what I mean? The collections. Definitely the advertisements. I don't think they're going to be making facsimiles of Joe Casey's Godland, but you might remember last week we did Youngblood, so that's 2 Image comics in a row. We didn't do Joe Casey's Youngblood that he wrote deluxe, but we did a few pages from that. But hopefully next week we'll do another Joe Casey comic, and those will all lead up into his signing in the store. But it's very important that I have all my customers either here in the comments or when you come in tomorrow, especially on a Wednesday, let me know what you think I should do so that I can get back to the guy and then get the plane tickets when it's time. Going back to comments really quick. Comic relief stories. You know it, baby. That's what you come here for, I know. Can you please do the Yulee Awards this year? I give them far more respect than the Eisners. Oh, the Eisners. Yeah, sure. I think we can do that. Hang on for a second. It's almost the end of the show, but I want to thank all my patrons over on Patreon. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I go on too much about it. But come on in. Free Comic Book Day is coming up, and you should all get a good old handshake. What was that last comment again? That was the Yulee Awards. So yeah, I guess I could. Right now it's probably going. See, it would have been like on my birthday, so I really would have done it on 3/23. But yeah, I mean, we could do something for sure. I don't really knock comic books that often because the thing about going back to comic relief, a lot of what Rory said did sink in, and he was all about not being negative about comic books. If you're writing a sign about a comic book, don't use a negative. Don't slam something. But I also come from kind of the Howard Stern approach when, he would make fun of John Tesh albums. I remember John Tesh would come on the show and he's all, no, you go ahead and make fun of those albums all you want. I get good sales during that time. So there's a certain amount of, tomfoolery, kind of joshing that you can do with people, and they can still respect what you're saying about the books and buy them all at the same time. Like, I understand that Quasar is some people's jams. It's just not mine. And if I'm making fun of that, someone's probably making fun of something that I like. So it's not really that big a deal. That's kind of the camaraderie that I like about the comic book store. At least the one that I'm trying to promote. But at the same time, if you like something, you like something, and you should always like it. It's not a bad thing. So yeah, there are some good comic books that are going to be coming out. Wes did a whole thing on Thinking Critical today about all this stuff that wasn't going to be good, and I was thinking, man, there are so many good things that are going to be coming out. I didn't even notice any of the bad ones. That's like, I pass over New Champions, or I pass over Thunderbolts, or, books that just really aren't going to do it for me. But at the same time, I'm now finding out about books that I would have passed over, like West Coast Avengers. And that's a fantastic book. And a book I would have read anyway eventually, but I got into it a little bit late, JSA. really, really good. And there's another issue coming out next week, so Jeff Lemire's doing an excellent job there. I read the first issue of Metamorpho because I was dared to, and I liked it. Al Ewing, not my favorite writer. Good stuff. There's a lot of things that are out there. If you're just looking for it, I can point them out to you. Someone else can. Go to your store and do that. And we'll see you or come to a Fantastic Comics Presents episode. Do that. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see you next week. And go buy some comic books. Bye.
Lucy and Ramona cruising through the jungles of L.A. Hoping to promote a dream somewhere along the way. They're rolling through the streets, looking for a disco, passing up the treats from a kid named Cisco, trying to make connections with their blemish-free complexions, and just as fate would have it, ended up with Sunset Sam. Sam was selling watches from a suitcase on a TV tray. And Lucy and Ramona kept trying to figure out if he was gay. The three of them were standing, staring at each other, when the light behind their eyes blew each other's cover. The ancient code was branded, and each of them was handed a ticket to their kingdom, 'cause they saw their brother Sunset Sam. Sunset Sam. Lucy was from Compton, and she met Ramona at the zoo. Ramona was from Brooklyn, but she left when she was 22. Sam was a native of the Arizona desert, but he split when he was slated for some governmental make-work. Their differences subsided when the common bond was sighted. They were all from the same place that made the